The EU is implementing a regulation called the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, CBAM, to level the playing field for EU producers by putting a price on carbon emissions from imported goods, making it the first regulation of its kind. Imagine you are an EU manufacturer producing steel, cement, aluminum, electricity, or fertilizers. Under the CBAM, you will be subject to carbon emissions costs just like your domestic counterparts.
We have been working hard to reduce our carbon footprint, but it's a challenge. Now, we will face additional costs if our competitors from outside the EU do not have to pay similar prices for their emissions.
The CBAM also applies to importers of these carbon-intensive goods.
As an importer, we are responsible for collecting data on the emissions embedded in our imports and reporting it to the EU Commission. If the emissions exceed a certain threshold, we will pay a carbon adjustment fee.
Importers can use either actual data or default data to calculate emissions.
Actual data is ideal, but it can be difficult to obtain from overseas suppliers. Default data is provided by the EU Commission, but it may not be accurate for every product.
The CBAM is a critical part of EU climate strategy. It will encourage global industry to adopt cleaner technologies and ensure that EU producers do not have to compete unfairly with companies from countries with lower carbon standards. The CBAM is expected to have a range of impacts on businesses and trade flows. Importers may face increased costs, and suppliers will feel more pressure to reduce their emissions.
The CBAM is putting pressure on us to reduce our carbon emissions. We are investing in new technologies and upgrading our production process to stay competitive.
The CBAM is a complex and evolving policy. While it may pose challenges for some businesses, it is a crucial step in the EU's efforts to combat climate change and promote sustainable production practices globally. Have a question? Contact our experts today at aither.com/get-in-touch. Aither, a world in compliance with nature.